In the 1880s, Spanish architect Antoni Gaudí took over the design and construction of a new church for the city of Barcelona. That church is still unfinished to this day, and yet is already recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most important buildings in the world. The Basilica y Temple Expiatori de la Sagrada Familia is a Roman Catholic basilica in Spain and one of the most recognizable, lauded, and controversial structures in the last several centuries of architecture. Despite being under construction for over a century, the basilica remains incomplete due to the complexity of Gaudí's designs and a few other historical factors, but that's okay. Gaudí, known in history as God's architect for his incredible religious structures, was said to have remarked that his client was in no hurry. La Sagrada Familia would be completed in its own time, and a century later, we still wait to see when that time will come. The Temple of the Holy Family, as it's called in English, was inspired in the 19th century by a Spaniard named Josep Boccabella. Boccabella had founded a religious organization called the Spiritual Association of Devotees of St. Joseph, which was campaigning to have a new church erected in Barcelona dedicated to the Holy Family. Eventually, the association raised enough money to purchase some land and hire an architect named Francisco de Paula del Villar y Lozano. Paula's original plan was to build a neo-Gothic church, which was a very popular style in the 19th century, whose buildings were based on the magnificent Gothic churches of medieval Europe, characterized by their high levels of decoration and towering spires. The first stone of the new church was laid in 1882, but Paula resigned soon after. In 1883, construction of the Sagrada Familia then fell to another architect, Antoni Gaudí. Gaudí immediately began changing the design of the church. While he was committed to the generally Gothic style, he also felt that this was naturally limited. Medieval Gothic structures relied on large support structures called buttresses, and Gaudí did not want to imitate this. He believed that God's house should be free of bulky supports, yet limitless in its height and grandeur. To resolve this problem, Gaudí turned to nature, seeking inspiration in what he saw as God's architecture. There's a reason the Sagrada Familia today looks almost botanical. Not only are the design motifs largely based on natural and organic forms, but the support structures of the church are actually modeled on the stems of plants. This unique design was stronger, lighter, and allowed for a greater amount of natural light inside the church. Art historians, therefore, identify the Sagrada Familia partly with the neo-Gothic movement, but also with the emerging Art Nouveau of the late 19th century that stressed organic and flowing forms. In terms of both technical engineering and design, Gaudí's church was among the most complex structures ever planned. He built many models, many of which were actually constructed upside down to show how the weight would be distributed, and towards the end of his life, dedicated all of his attention to a church he knew he would not live to see completed. Antoni Gaudí died in 1926 after being hit by a streetcar, and while work on the Sagrada Familia continued, it was not without challenge. In 1936, the Spanish Civil War interrupted construction. Around the same time, Spanish anarchists destroyed many of Gaudí's original models and plans. After the end of World War II, however, construction resumed and has been constant ever since. In the decades since Gaudí's death, La Sagrada Familia's construction has been often controversial. There are many who worry that the current plans deviated from Gaudí's original design, while others think the design should be changed more. While some have called it the most magnificent structure of all time, others see it as gaudy. At a cost of roughly €25 million per year, the construction has also presented a major financial investment. The biggest thing that people discuss in regards to this structure, however, is its completion. After over 130 years, officials are claiming that the basilica should be finally finished by 2026, with the addition of 6 more towering spires, bringing the total height of the church to 564 feet. This would make it the tallest religious structure in Europe. If they can achieve this, Gaudí's church will be completed exactly 100 years from the date of his death. However, this too has been controversial. Gaudí's original plans may have made the church even taller, and there are many who actually believe that the church should be left intentionally incomplete. For over a century, La Sagrada Familia has been defined by its perpetual state of construction, a testament to the incredible genius of Gaudí. In this context, perpetual construction on La Sagrada Familia becomes an enduring art form itself, representing Gaudi's never-ending quest to mirror divine perfection. Whatever the future of La Sagrada Familia, this building is sure to inspire controversy for decades to come. Even if the building is finished, the debates over it will likely be forever incomplete. The Basilica e Templi Expiatori de la Sagrada Familia is a Roman Catholic basilica in Barcelona. Originally commissioned by Josep Boccabella and the Spiritual Association of Devotees of St. Joseph, it was meant to be a neo-Gothic structure, which was a very popular style in the 19th century, whose buildings were characterized by their high levels of decoration and towering spires, built by architect Francisco de Paula del Villar y Lozano. However, the job later fell to Antoni Gaudí, famous Spanish architect who redesigned it with mixed Gothic and Art Nouveau features, creating a complex, organic, and botanical masterpiece of stone, with the support structures being modeled after plant stems. After Gaudí's death in 1926, construction was interrupted by the Spanish Civil War. While officials are now claiming that the basilica will be completed by 2026, it remains a controversial building, and some believe it should be left forever incomplete. Whatever the future holds, La Sagrada Familia remains a constant source of inspiration and controversy, as does its architect, a man who, like his client, was in no hurry.